General Hospital spoilers. Drew is horrified to discover that Scout is not his biological daughter. For years, Drew Kane has embraced his role as father to his beloved daughter, Scout. Despite the chaos of memory mapping, presumed deaths, and fractured relationships, the bond between Drew and Scout was one of his few constants. But General Hospital spoilers now suggest a storyline so explosive that it could shatter everything he thought he knew about his family. A paternity truth bomb is about to drop, and it may redefine Scout's identity forever. Sources hint that Drew will be blindsided when he learns he is not Scout's biological father. This revelation promises to send shockwaves through Port Charles, entangling Sam, Jason, Alexis, Monica's legacy, and even Scout herself in a web of betrayal, heartbreak, and moral dilemmas. Let's dive into how this shocking twist unfolds, what it means for Drew, and how it could reshape the canvas of GH for years to come. When Drew returned to Port Charles, one of his first priorities was re-establishing his place in Scout's life. Even as Sam wrestled with her own complicated ties to Jason, Drew made it clear that his daughter would always come first. In recent months, viewers saw him step up as a steady parent. He helped Scout navigate Monica's heartbreaking passing, reminded her of Coeur d'Alene traditions, and even promised to take her on a trip to honor Alan and Monica's memory. To Drew, being a father wasn't about DNA, it was about love, sacrifice, and consistency. But as often happens in Port Charles, secrets buried in the past refuse to stay hidden. According to spoilers, the storyline begins innocently enough, with a medical crisis involving Scout. Perhaps she collapses at school during a soccer game, or comes down with a mysterious illness that sends Sam, Drew, and Alexis into panic mode. Doctors at General Hospital scramble to run tests, and what should have been routine blood work turns into a moment of shocking clarity. The hospital records don't match. Drew's genetic markers don't line up with Scout's. At first, the doctors assume it's a clerical error. But when further tests are ordered, under the watchful eye of TJ, Liz, and Portia, the truth can no longer be ignored. Drew Kane is not Scout Kane's biological father. The reveal hits Drew like a freight train. For a man who has fought so hard to rebuild his life after memory manipulation, losing Oscar, and being separated from Scout for years, this feels like the ultimate betrayal. Imagine the scene. Drew sitting in the GH conference room, Portia sliding the test results across the table. His hands shake as he reads the words. At first, he refuses to believe it. His mind races back to the early days with Sam, their declarations of love, the joy of holding Scout for the first time. "I've already lost one child," he whispers, tears brimming in his eyes, thinking of Oscar. "Don't tell me I never had this one to begin with." For viewers, this moment will echo classic GH paternity shockers, combining the raw pain of family betrayal with the ripple effects that will divide Port Charles. The natural question becomes, did Sam know the truth all along? When Scout was born, Jason had just returned from presumed death, and Sam was caught in a love triangle between Jason and Drew. At the time, she believed Drew was Jason thanks to Helena's twisted memory mapping schemes. That confusion could now be the root of Scout's true paternity. If the child was conceived while Sam was torn between both men, whose daughter is Scout really? Could she be Jason's biological child all along? Or could another shocking one-night stand from Sam's complicated past come back to haunt her? Spoilers suggest that Sam herself will be rattled by the revelation. She insists she always believed Drew was the father. But her timeline with Jason raises suspicions, and Drew isn't ready to let her off the hook. "Did you ever stop to wonder?" he demands. "Or did you just let me believe a lie because it was easier?" Their already fragile co-parenting arrangement could implode under the weight of these accusations. If Scout is revealed to be Jason's biological daughter, it would catapult him back into fatherhood in a way that shakes his current storyline. Jason already carries heavy guilt over being absent for Danny's formative years and for the chaos his mob life has brought to Jake. Learning that Scout is his flesh and blood would force him into another impossible dilemma. Can he balance the mob life with being a full-time father? Would Sam reopen old wounds by reconnecting with Jason for Scout's sake? How would Drew cope with losing his place in Scout's life to his twin? This twist would reignite the long-simmering rivalry between Drew and Jason. For years, Jason has been the shadow in Drew's life, the man whose face he wore, whose wife he loved, whose family he shared. If Jason ends up being Scout's biological father, Drew may feel robbed of yet another piece of his identity. No GH storyline is complete without Alexis Davis weighing in, and this twist will devastate her. Alexis has always been fiercely protective of her daughters and grandchildren, often meddling in ways that cause more harm than good. When the truth about Scout's paternity surfaces, Alexis may lash out at Sam for her choices, questioning why she didn't confirm the truth years ago. She may also rush to reassure Drew that DNA doesn't define family, yet her words may ring hollow when Drew is staring down the possibility of losing his daughter. Molly and Christina could also get swept into the fallout, torn between supporting their sister and acknowledging the pain Drew is enduring. The timing of this storyline couldn't be more poignant, given Monica's recent death. Drew had been determined to keep Scout connected to her Quartermaine roots. Now, with the revelation that Scout may not be his biological child, her place in the family is thrown into question. Is Scout still a Quartermaine? Should she inherit Monica's legacy, or will Tracy and Ned push to exclude her? The Quartermaine family is famous for ruthless fights over bloodlines and inheritances, and this twist could reignite that tradition in spectacular fashion. Imagine Tracy coldly remarking, "She's not a Quartermaine by blood. And in this family, that matters." Such cruelty would devastate Drew and could spark a full-blown Quartermaine civil war. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of this storyline is the effect on Scout herself. She's old enough now to understand the basics of family and biology, but too young to fully process the betrayal. How does a child reconcile the idea that the man who raised her may not be her real father? Will she feel pressure to bond with Jason if he's revealed as her bio dad? Will she feel like a pawn in the adult drama swirling around her? Viewers could see poignant scenes of Scout asking Drew, "Are you still my daddy?" The anguish on Drew's face as he reassures her, despite his own doubts, would cement this as one of the most emotional storylines in years. While Jason is the most obvious candidate, GH loves to throw curveballs. Here are some possible twists. Jason is the father, the most straightforward answer, tying Scout back into the Jason, Sam, Drew triangle. Franco twist. Could there be a shocking revelation involving Franco's altered memories, or some bizarre lab mix-up during the memory mapping saga? Cassidy manipulation. Helena Cassidy's schemes may not be done. Could she have tampered with Sam's pregnancy as part of her obsession with the twins? Unknown father. Perhaps Sam had a brief fling off-screen during her emotional turmoil, opening the door for a brand new character to be introduced as Scout's dad. Each possibility carries drama, history, and long-term story potential. As Drew grapples with the truth, spoilers suggest he'll be faced with a heartbreaking decision. Does he fight to remain Scout's legal father, regardless of biology? Or does the betrayal cut too deep, pushing him to walk away in order to protect his own sanity? Drew's instinct is to protect Scout, but his pain may cloud his judgment. He could spiral into bitterness, resenting Jason and Sam for robbing him of the life he thought he had. At the same time, his military discipline and sense of honor may lead him to rise above the chaos, declaring, "She's my daughter because I raised her. That's what makes a father." Viewers will be torn, watching Drew's heartbreak while rooting for him to hold on to the child who gave his life meaning. This storyline won't just affect Drew, Sam, Jason, and Scout. The fallout could spread across Port Charles in fascinating ways. Sonny may weigh in, given his loyalty to Jason and his history with Sam. Carly could find herself stuck in the middle, torn between supporting Jason and acknowledging Drew's pain. Liz might become Drew's confidant, sparking the possibility of a new romance. Danny and Jake will have to process the idea of another sibling shift, reigniting Jason's family struggles. The Quartermaines could explode in a battle over inheritance and legacy. Every corner of the canvas could feel the aftershocks. Insiders hint that this storyline is only the beginning. Future arcs may explore custody battles. A courtroom showdown between Drew and Jason could mirror classic GH custody wars. A new villain connection. What if Helena or another enemy orchestrated this to torment Drew and Jason? Scout's rebellion. As she grows older, Scout may lash out at all the adults in her life, blaming them for the confusion. Romantic fallout. Drew's heartbreak could push him toward Liz, Nina, or even a surprising new pairing. The possibilities are endless, and with the right pacing, this storyline could dominate GH for months to come. At its core, the revelation that Drew is not Scout's biological father is a quintessential General Hospital storyline. It combines love, betrayal, family legacy, and generational fallout, all while tying back to the show's history of twins, mistaken identities, and Cassadine schemes. For Drew, this will be the ultimate test of fatherhood. For Sam and Jason, it's a chance to revisit old wounds and redefine their futures. And for viewers, it's a front-row seat to one of the most emotional, high-stakes arcs the soap has delivered in years. As the truth comes out, one thing is certain: Port Charles will never be the same.